Welcome to Virtual STEAM Teacher. Today we're going to have a look at a free resource that's sort of linked to a paid resource. You don't have to use one with the other, but it's worth being aware of it. So far we've had a look at a few programs. We've had a look at Scratch, which gets you started and lets you do some cool animations. We've had a look at MBlock, which takes you sort of to the next level and lets you use Arduinos, lets you use their hardware. And the last one we're going to have a look at now, if you sort of follow the level of teaching, is we get to VEX Robotics. So VEX Robotics has decided to use Scratch 3. And if you have a look here, it looks exactly the same as MBlock, which is exactly the same as Scratch 3, because it's all using the same technology. But the VEX Robotics is almost the same as the EV3, the Lego one. I find the VEX hardware a little bit cheaper. Very similar. I think there's a few things that the Lego can do that aren't in the VEX, but the VEX one's upgradable. So it didn't have Bluetooth. And if you buy the Smart Brains, and you can have Bluetooth and you can program from the iPad, which it used to be the big difference between the EV3 and the VEX. If you get a VEX these days, it should hopefully come with the smart radio, and you should be able to program them from the very beginning. But make sure if you get VEX hardware that you get the blue radio, you get the smart radio, and you can program them from the iPads. So if you have a look here, what's really cool is if you don't have any VEX robots and you're wanting to teach your kids programming, and we don't want that one, we'll do this one here. I'm going to go for 200 millimeters. What we can do is, without having any hardware at all, there's some tutorials, there's some activities. We can decide what we want to do, and if we have a look here, we can expand it, move this around. Now, this is the only problem I have with this one. Because it is online, it is a little bit slow. So if we have a look here, we ran my program. I'm going to press stop. I'm going to run it again. So each time I run it, it's going to go forwards an exact amount. And if we have a look here, we can change our angle. All right, we do have a virtual robot here, and we can do the challenges. So the nicest thing about this is if they get the code here, the code will be pretty much identical to what they use in the VEXIQ code. So they've got a full curriculum that you can use again, and it sort of teaches you sensors and hardware and all that kind of stuff using your little virtual robot. And once you've gone past that, you can go to the VEXIQ code, which is the same hardware, or sorry, the same code used for the real robot. So you can do this in your iPad, you can do this on a computer, and you can start to program your IQ robot and get it to move around. And the really cool thing for students anyway is if they want to program this from home, they can go on this website, they can do their code, they can get it to work. They don't even have to have an iPad at home. They can get this all done. They can save it. Even if they don't have a computer that's not theirs, they can just take a photo of it. They can then bring their code in. They can either load it, depending upon how they saved it, or they can just re-put it in to the apps either on a computer or on the iPads, and then they can get their code to work. So as far as that goes from a workflow point of view, it's really convenient that students can do this at the library. They can do this on their device. They can practice the coding without having to have it. And then when they actually come to school, they can then actually try their code and see it working with real hardware. So yeah, really, really impressed with VRVEX. Highly recommend it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this resource. Let me know what you think.